So, Patrick, Jonas, it's great to see you. This is a podcast that I have personally looked forward to. This is Exakta Group in Sweden, in Malmö to be specific. One of our longest serving partners, almost like 10 years back, and also one of the largest production hubs in Northern Europe. So I'm super excited about this. We're going to speak a bit about the future, the past, where you see the industry going. But Patrick and Jonas, first, welcome. And then if you can, Patrick, say a bit about the Exakta, how big you are, what type of production equipment you have, and so forth.
Of course. As you said, my name is Patrick Andersson. I'm the CEO of Exakta in Sweden. We have our headquarters in Malmö. And in numbers, we are around 170 employees and have a turnover around 50 million euro, almost 45 million euros. And we are actually in all of the production segments. We produce traditional print in offset and also digital print, both in inkjet and so on, and also large format. And we have been to a journey here for a couple of years where we have consolidated our business, and now we have a super modern production plant in Malmö.
You have some also new digital inkjet machines. When we met first time, you had HP Indigo, and then you've expanded a bit on that. If you can speak a bit about that, Patrick.
We have been, as you said, going into the inkjet production method, and with great success, actually. We have both sheet printers and also this,
roll strap.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And we have been doing this since 2020, I think. We installed the first one, and we have...
That's a Canon ProStream, right?
Canon ProStream and Canon IX32 100.
And it's interesting, when we started to work together, the big bulk of Exakta's revenue came from offset, and then it's just gone one way.
Yeah, exactly. We still have a lot of offset printing, but the increasement we have is in the digital printing and the large format, for sure.
And how have you, so we started working together, as I said, about 10 years ago, but so much things has happened since in this industry. If we just zoom out from Exakta, out from Gelato, what is it that you've seen during the last 5-10 years? And then also, what is it that you believe will happen during the coming 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, actually, we have our former strategy. I think, let's say, for 7-8 years ago, we have been to a journey where we have bought different traditional print companies in Sweden, and by that means we have also increased our turnover with that strategy. But the last 3-4 years, with Gelato's help, because you're pushing us into new markets, we have changed the strategy, and now we're more like into a customer or market strategy. So we actually look at what kind of products are interesting for our customers or for new customers, and where can we see growth. And that is one thing that I actually can say our cooperation has given us a lot, because you push us into new product areas, and it's really, really fun, because now we can see in some departments where we have Jonas in charge, we have actually customers knocking at the door and say, okay, can you also produce to us? And that's a new thing for the graphic industry, I think.
Well, speaking about pushing, you've also pushed us. And you push us now, especially with GelatoConnect, in really, good ways, because you're putting demands on us in terms of what we need to develop to improve your operations. And one of the great advantages I feel with having production partners to Gelato, also deploying GelatoConnect across their whole business, is that we know each other really well. So what we don't have and where you want us to go, and vice versa. So that leads us into this partnership I mean, we started to work together for almost a decade ago. And how have you seen that partnership evolve and develop? And where do you see now, going into the coming 2-3 years, this partnership heading?
Yeah, the history was actually like more we were all producing many of your products. And now, since you have gone into these software things, we have seen a lot of benefits. And I must say that the most impressive thing is in our cooperation is the speed of the development, and the speed of the implementation is incredible. We haven't seen it with any other suppliers before. And of course, as you say, we also push you from our side, and we say to you, okay, this is a big challenge for the industry and for Exakta, and you're all ears all the time, and you and your team is fantastic and catching those issues and working for a solution. So now we're really happy, and we see also that this is a very important step for us to take.
First of all, thank you for that. It is a partnership, and the input you're giving us helps every partner in this network to get a better service, a better software. So this is very mutual. But it also leads us into Jonas. If you can speak a bit about what your role is here, Jonas, and how you see the partnership today with Exakta and Gelato.
My role at Exakta is sales manager at a segment e-commerce by partner and publishing.
What does that mean exactly? I think many that are listening will not exactly understand what that means. It's like many titles. It sounds really good, but you don't really understand what they're
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that means we are working with customers like Gelato. There are a lot of other customers and colleagues for you guys that we're working with. It also means that we mostly work with customers that has other customers on e-commerce business. So we are not doing business to the end customer.
But that business could not have even existed 3-4 years ago, or did it?
No, it didn't. And it's quite interesting because we're seeing, as you are seeing, in the creator market is growing. In some products, it's almost insane. We haven't seen this before in our business and our industries. So,
what is your interface towards the e-commerce industry? Are companies or creators or e-commerce companies coming to Exakta because they have now heard that Exakta is a natural and very good fulfillment partners to the e-commerce industry? Or how is actually that customer connection happening?
Yeah, it's both way. We have customers who's coming to us because they want to go to the Nordics and approach the Nordic market. And we have customers that's already on the Nordic market and want to do business with us. But we also is connecting to new customers. There are companies that you're only in US, for example, and they have almost not heard about the Nordics and Scandinavia. So, and when we come to them and we say, okay, we can produce for the Nordics and here the market, and we do it like this.
So thanks for that, Jonas. If we think about how Connect and GelatoConnect is working side by side with your e-commerce customers, what has really happened now? We had a discussion and we took a decision to go forward with GelatoConnect in the beginning of this year, and then we have worked with deploying it. So what would you say before and after when it comes to supporting micro orders that are highly personalized to the e-commerce industry? What has actually happened?
Yeah, in production there are the two main problems. Or the that you need to solve with all the micro orders. It's how to produce them and how to ship and send them. So, and with GelatoConnect, we solved both of them. We have mostly focused on the logistic part and the packaging part. The last 6 months, I would say, and we saw quite easily how we saved up to 50% of the packaging time for posters when we start using Gelato.
And why is that? What is it that happens when you now see this in real life as you've rolled out GelatoConnect? What is the advantages from your perspective when it comes to serving these customers in the e-commerce space?
There are very many different benefits, but one is now we have a whole range of products that we could add. We have all the products that you sell to your customers and that you already have implemented. Your engineers are incredible. When we want to change something, if we want to add a new product, add a new shipment, add a new carrier, for us that could take months before. Now it will take a week, sometimes just a weekend. That's quite important for us when we integrate or migrate new customers to us. The speed, the pace, so we can connect with the customers.
And that is, of course, important, because one thing that we have seen with e-commerce and the micro orders is it's really hard to predict the volume and the pickup. If you do a campaign, it can just explode. And so you really need efficiency in procurement, in the production or workflow, and then also in the logistics. Sometimes, Patrick, in the past, when we discussed this, you were really hesitant to move away from your current workflow provider. And there were several different reasons for that. If you would speak to another production hub or another printer somewhere around the world now, what is it that you saw you had before versus what you have today with GelatoConnect? And what do you feel about the decision and why?
From the beginning, when you started to introduce this GelatoConnect, and the main thing that was a little bit scary, but was to leave the old system that we're using, because it's so important that we have for this, let's see, the last quarter of the year, we have a very intense production in our production plant. And it's also always scary before you have actually tried this new system. But now when we took the decision with you, and you were very close to us during this process, I would say that we have in many departments, as Jonas said before, I just overheard about the packing part. And I spoke to the guy managing that department, and he says that now when we pack, we get the orders and the products in right order, and we have pack, let's see, 40% more than before. So almost half of the staff is needed. So that means that we can also very quickly allocate new persons if the volume increase, as you said before, because we can never see, we can go in the history, but some of the campaigns can really boost our production. And then we need this, and in Swedish you say this rubber band, we need to be able to adjust in very short notice. And with the old system, that was like a bottleneck for us, because we couldn't pack faster than we did.
Yeah, and now we've also gone ahead with apparel, and so we have the workflow system for the digital print production. We have GelatoConnect for the apparel production, and there you have pushed us quite hard to DTF, and you already have DTG. And you're thinking about how to expand and how to leverage the apparel growth. But when you now push us into commercial jobs and offset. How are you thinking about that? That has been something, Patrick, we have spoken about for quite some time. You have had separate meetings with the engineering team, with the product team. I'm just curious, what is it that you see in the offset and the commercial space that, from your perspective, is so valuable as a CEO and an owner of Exakta?
The main thing is actually that we need to have one workflow system where we can gather all of our incoming orders, no matter if they produce in offset, digital, or large format.
Or apparel.
What? Or apparel. It's on you that I'll forget it. No, but I want our staff in the production to follow one order flow and one workflow all throughout the system, and all from our planning department, where we can also choose. We have free capacity in inkjet, for example. In the traditional way, we decide when we do the quotation, we decide what machine and what way to produce everything, and also administration around these orders and everything will be a lot easier if we have it in one system. And as for our customers, we don't really need to tell if it's produced in inkjet or in offset or whatever. They want to have a product, and we want to produce it as efficient as possible, and to what's suitable for our production at the moment.
What type of offset machines? Because you have HP Indigo, you have different Canon machines, and in offset, what type of machines do you have there?
We have Heidelberg all over the offset plant. So, and you see, we work in their MIS system, and of course that's excellent for offset production. But if we should follow the market that's growing, we need to have a more flexible way of handling it, because now we have, as you spoke about before, lots of micro orders that we need to take care of, and those old systems, they cannot handle it, and for us that's a big problem. So I'm really excited to see what Gelato can do for us the first quarter of 2025. I'm sure if we can get through that, it will be very, very, very important.
That is super interesting to listen to, Patrick, and thank you for the guidance there to the team on what we need to develop as we move into offset and commercial jobs. You mentioned when we have free capacity in the inkjet, but you can have free capacity in the HP Indigos, in the Canon machines, and in the offset machines. And one thing that we have spoken a lot about, the load balancer, which we are also now preparing to launch for H1 or the first half year 2025. So when you have idle capacity, you can simply upload it to GelatoConnect so that other printers in the Nordics or in the world can access and see that. But then also, if you have a machine breakdown, of course, never happens in this industry. But if you have a machine breakdown, you can also access the equivalent machine in one of the other GelatoConnect customers' facilities. So from your perspective as an owner and as the CEO of Exakta, what's your view on this load balancer and this next phase of GelatoConnect?
I think it's very interesting because we have done these studies before, how much we utilize our equipment. And I would say that the machinery, if we don't mention the human capital, but the machinery is like used way too little. I think if we see all the running hours from our equipment and we see the good production in every machine, I think it's not more than 30-35%. If we can decide ourselves, now we have less production, now we can offer our production capacity to other printers around the world or wherever. GelatoConnect could actually be a really, really good like a network, like a workflow, combined workflow for us all. So of course that's a really, really, really interesting opportunity.
Because I hear many times when I speak to printers around the world that if we're going into this product category, we need to invest and buy that machine. Or we have so many breakdowns of the machine that we need to buy another one. I think it's the only industry in the whole world that says the machine works so rarely and so seldomly that we need to buy another one. And so the load balancer will also allow you, Patrick, to rethink your balance sheet.
Yeah, of course. And also one very important thing that we can reach out to international companies now with this workflow. We can go for, in this area where we is located close to Copenhagen and Malmö and Lund, there are really many big, interesting customers. And if we can approach them and say that we actually can offer them local production for that what it is, I think we can get another unique selling point when we meet them that we don't have today. And we can speak on another level. And I think that's also really interesting.
It is really interesting because you also have the sustainability aspect in Europe. You have the carbon emission that you need to report. By 2026, the regulations are just going one way in Europe. So that means if you want to report, you need to understand procurement, you need to understand the production, the workflow, and you need to understand logistics because it's really end to end. Where did you buy the material from? How much paper did you consume in this production? Where did you ship this order to? Like, there are many aspects that requires an end-to-end software solution to even be able to report it. How would you say when you speak to some of the global customers that you have today, although you serve it very regionally as of yet, but how do you think they are pushing sustainability? What's your sense there?
Yeah, it's spot on, I would say. They have actually the same pressure on them because they also have this focus on sustainability, and they need their suppliers to report the impact that they on their products. With this system, not only that we produce it locally in this system, we also can get the information really easy and work with those important questions.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that we will speak about when we meet in Madrid. We have our enterprise customers joining us in Madrid for a roadmap session. This is end of January 2025. And I think both the load balancer, but also the carbon emission calculator will become big, important blocks that we need to focus on. And then, of course, also the whole commercial job section of Exakta, the offset section, so that, as you say, we have one software for all the products, all the machines, which brings me to Jonas. Jonas, when you think about today, when you come in Monday morning, what do you feel? What do you feel makes you excited in terms of procurement, in terms of production and workflow and logistics? If we go 1-2 years back in time, what are them? How would you look at them differently? And what is it that you see that builds up this excitement for what's ahead?
The first thing I see on Monday morning is how many orders we have to dispatch on Monday.
And you do that over the phone or?
Sometimes over the phone, but mostly on the computer. That's the first site I'm logging into. It's the Gelato network.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah. So, and that's exciting me if there are many orders. But
you push it above 30% utilization in the machines, and Patrick becomes very happy.
But of course, what I is seeing right now, we have migrated some customers to GelatoConnect workflow. And as I said before, our focus has been on the shipment and packaging area right now. We haven't been focused so much on production. So, but I would see that coming on Q1 next year. And at the same time, we are adding new products, new customers. And I'm really curious because what I've seen in packaging and shipment, if we would come somewhere closely on the efficient that we have in the packaging area in the production. It's really interesting to see how we would manage that. Do we have too many machines, or should we add more customers? Of course, we should add more customers, but
I think Patrick would say add more customers.
Yeah, of course.
What about the procurement, Jonas? Because we have now rolled out the first parts and bits and pieces of the procurement module. We had an on-site visit last week where I found the conclusions and the input from the Gelato team coming back after the site visit to Exakta. They were very excited about the opportunities to reduce inventory and to be more efficient when combining demand and supply. From your perspective, and when you speak to your team, what did they say about the procurement module?
Yeah, they haven't seen anything like it before. So,
and when you say that, what do they mean when they said we haven't seen anything like this before?
We haven't had the software that helps you do the procurement, like your procurement app is doing. And as you said, we will reduce our inventory. Our goal is to reduce it to almost 80% in apparel, and that's just apparel. And
that sounds, just sorry for interrupting, but that sounds crazy. But
yeah,
it's a couple of things. I feel, at least this was what the Gelato team said. First of all, you bought in boxes. So with minimum quantity 70, which is absolutely not needed for many of the apparel items. Secondly, you do everything or did everything manually, which when you're in this an industry and this environment, it's really hard to do these type of decisions and make these type of decisions manually. You need software, you need artificial intelligence to predict volume, to predict growth, and automatically replenish. They came back convinced that we would reduce at least 50%, but somewhere around 50 to 80%.
At the same time, I think we will add more SKUs. What that means is more product that we can produce on. So if we would work at the same way we did before, that would mean that we would increase our inventory with 20, 30, 40, 50%. But now we will decrease it with 80%.
And this is, I feel, I'm curious to hear your perspective here, Patrick, because I'm so surprised when I'm out traveling and meeting printers. I go through their facility and it's so manual. And still, many printers tell me, well, we have this system, we've built this in-house, we've done this here ourselves. But then when you actually start to dig into these different components of the production flow, where procurement and the warehouse is such an important part, it is so manual. It feels sometimes that nothing has happened during 10, 20 years. And so I'm curious to get your sense about why the industry still is operating so manually.
I think the main thing is that we are coming from more, hand labor kind of industry. Now we're moving into this process industry, and that we need to look at the workflow, sourcing, warehousing, utility of our equipment, utility of our staff, and all of these things. These are new things and I think that many of the printers are stuck in the old way of thinking. But as we challenge ourselves with new customers, new product areas, and so on, we need to do this. You have this apparel as an example. That's a new thing for us, where we have to take a completely new approach that we then can implement in the other part of our production. Like Jonas was into, this digital printing, canvas printing, large format printing, and of course offset printing. That is the thing that we carry with us. Offset is still a great way of producing, but we need to handle the administration and the utility on another level. So it's more like for a management point of view and for the company and for the future, I think we need to just get a better utilization of our resources to be able to be competitive, and also not be happy with 2% profit margin. I mean, we are good in the graphic industry if we can do 2%, but we cannot, over time, we cannot live on that profit.
Yeah, so we're nearing the end, but before the next question, just one thing that we also see with the procurement implementation, even though we are able to reduce the inventory by 50%, and you even mentioned up to 80%, Jonas, you see increased growth, because all of a sudden we know what type of SKUs you should buy to expand. We have stopped guessing, which means that we can reduce the inventory by 50%, but we can increase growth by 20-30%. This is something that makes us, and I also know the team here at Gelato, just super excited. At the end here, first question to you here, Patrick. What was your biggest concern before we took the decision and started the deployment? And how do you relate to that concern today when it comes to GelatoConnect and moving into GelatoConnect?
To be 100% honest, as I want to be.
Yeah, please.
When you
introduce
this to us, to me, I was thinking, because we have been working with these questions for many, many years with different suppliers, with different software. But when you said that we're going for this now, we can see a really, really good business opportunity for ourselves and also for all of you, printers all around the world. I was thinking, can they actually make it that quick? And all these areas, and I was kind of skeptic from the beginning, and you know that, Henrik.
Yeah, we're talking about this.
I know. I'm like the old offset printer, you know. I'm very hard to change.
But I have to also say, once you changed, you go. And you go all in. So sorry to interrupt you, but
no problem. So, but the things we have seen the last year, it's amazing. And I don't want to give you too high horses sitting on now, but it's actually for us for our business, it's really game changing, and we're really, really excited to see this next part where we go for the other parts of the production, and if we can make that as good as the other things we have done together, we could be really, really in close to our goals, I think.
I mean, it's interesting, Patrick, when you and I spoke, we spoke about at least doubling the profit margin, but hopefully tripling it in 12 months' time. That was the last discussion we had. That was our ambition. And what's so fascinating is by summer next year, we hope that we will be able to run a 45 to 50 million euro production hub printer that has offset, digital, and apparel over one single software, end to end, from procurement, production to logistics. I think that is something that not even I thought we would be able to accomplish when we took this decision in February, March 2024, this year. So when we look into 2025, if we start with you, Jonas, what is it that makes you most excited? What is it that you want to increase the volume on to the GelatoConnect team? Please.
Yeah, what I'm excited about is the whole industry of printing, because it's really fast moving and right now, but you have to be able to catch all the opportunities that are popping up. And with that, to do that, we need a software, help from software, support from our software. And I think what I've seen so far, we are getting the support with Gelato software, but mostly, most important is that we get the support from your engineers to supporting us with the question we get, sending them, and the issues, the wishes, all crazy small things that we are sending to your team, they're catching them and make it happen. And without that, I think it's not impossible. It's really, really hard to catching up with the pace this industry is having right now, because it's popping up new products all the time, and we can't run on every product, but for those we want to be able to be really, really good at, really, really fast.
And one thing, just lastly, Jonas, I also think that when we started speaking, it was very much about workflow. It was very much about production. But what we are seeing, you and the Gelato team, is that the complexity as you move more into digital micro orders is actually in procurement and logistics to a great extent. Because Exakta, when we started working, you had like 300-400 different papers. Now you have 100,000 different SKUs if you include drinkware, apparel, all the new products, frames, and so forth. So the complexity in procurement has exploded, but also on the shipment side. Because when we started working, Patrick, almost a decade ago, the average order value that you ship from Exakta was like 2,000 to 10,000 kroner, and now it can be 100 kroner, meaning 10 euros today, compared to 300 to 1,000 euros 10 years ago. So the complexity, which is interesting to see in the digital print industry especially, has really increased both in the procurement as well as in the logistic phase of the production. When I say that, Jonas, what are your thoughts?
You're spot on, Henrik. We are setting micro orders right now. And to be able to do that in a good way, we have to be efficient all the way, just from all the way from catching the orders to produce it and to pack it and send it. We need support from our software there, and Gelato is supporting us.
This is the whole procurement piece is so exciting because we work together. And there are thousands of suppliers when it comes to raw material to this industry. And that is a different thing that we can come back to in the next podcast. But navigating 10,000 suppliers in Europe to support Exakta, I think that is a super exciting opportunity that holds a lot of improvements for the print industry to make that more efficient. Patrick, when we look into 2025 and beyond, just generally from an industry perspective, but then also in our partnership with GelatoConnect, what is it that makes you excited?
The most exciting thing is actually if we can get all of our production methods into this system. That would be really, really nice. And also the way we meet the market, because all of the printers knows that we have a lot of administration with quotation, order confirmations, orders, and all of them are handling in an old system. So if we can get these more efficient, both of them, those spots, I say we will take major steps into a successful business.
And that is really our focus for next year, to work together with you and make that happen. So with that, thank you so much, Jonas, for all the work you're doing together with the Gelato team. And Patrick, thank you for believing in GelatoConnect and daring to take that decision. As I said, we will work day and night to not let you down. And so we're looking forward to 2025 and a continued deeper partnership with Exakta. Thank you very much.
Thank you.